I'm originally from Ohio, and we weren't aware of what great damage that the sun can do to your skin. I believe it was my ear. I had a non-healing scab that started in my ear, and it would start with bleeding in a scab that wouldn't stop, and I would wake up with big bleeding spots on say a pillow where I'd sleep at night, and would just bleed all over the pillow, or would just start and have blood all over my pajamas. So I went into a doctor. They found it was carcinoma, one of the worst skin cancers that you can have, and it had spread almost completely through my ear. So they only ended up being able to save the lower portion of my ear, where the tumor had spread through the upper portion of my ear. So they ended up taking the top portion of my ear. I had a scab on my lip also that was, there's another one besides Basal-cell, which is pretty much what I had diagnosed on my arm and shoulders and also on my forehead. But I had squamous, is another type of skin cancer also, that was on my lip, and it was another scab that didn't heal. Now the ear and the lip were two non-healing scabs that were pretty much the same time, about 7 years ago, that I had surgically removed, that were the first signs of skin cancer, that were before I was ready to start having medical treatment, because I wasn't ready to start going in and having treatment done. I wasn't used to having doctor's care. I was more of a phobic and not used to going in. I didn't like to have to go to the doctor and get treatment done all the time. It just wasn't something that we were used to doing, and I was afraid of. And it took me 7 years to get used to going and getting treatment. So 7 years later, when I had all sorts of brown spots and little nicks and scabs, I finally started going in to dermatology. I finally went into dermatology, and they did, I believe it was 12 biopsies on different spots that they found on my body. All of them came back positive of basal-cell skin cancer. So we took 3 of the biggest ones, which was here and on my neck and on my shoulder, to go ahead and have surgically removed. So those were done in June 2014. And then I came back in, and I had, I believe, 7 more biopsies were still positives. They didn't want to do any more surgeries on my face because of all the positive skin cancer that I have on my face. My face would have been nothing but scars for them to go ahead and take all the skin cancer off my face. So they decided to let me do chemo to get rid of the skin cancer that I have, because so much is on my face. So I started in with chemotherapy in July of 2014. So July 2014, I started chemo and just stopped in the 1st of April of 2015. So I went in on April Fool's Day 2015 to dermatology, and I came out cancer-free. I am in fact going back every 3 months for them to check and to make sure that nothing is coming back on me. And I'm doing all the preventative steps of not being back out in the sun and using all the creams and all the sunscreens and all the blocks that in fact I should have been doing all along. And they do have another cream that I am going to start using, is that all the sun damage that I did do before, they have me going and using one at a time on maybe say my forehead or my chest or my shoulders, is a cream where I will be putting on, and it takes off a layer of skin of the damage that I did before, and it's like a 6-week preventative. I haven't started to use it yet, so I'm not completely sure, but that's what I'm going to be doing also. Orchids are such an original, and there's so many different species of orchid that I just can't get enough of them for some reason. Years ago, Renee, my daughter's father, and I had a beauty salon, and one of the clients that used to come in there, they were a grower of orchids out of Coconut Grove, and one of them came in and brought me in a brown bag with a bottle and the agar, the clear, I don't even know what it is, the stuff where you put the seeds in of the orchid, and you keep it in a brown bag with the seeds, and when they're, to a certain extent, when they're ready to come, you break the bottle and you have the little seeds for when the orchids are ready to transplant and to put somewhere else. And I've never seen anything like that before. It's just absolutely incredible. There's nothing like that with orchids. Okay, well, where to now is basically just full steam ahead. I'm just glad it's all behind me.